Hi Stan, thanks for joining us today. As the CEO and founder of Business Automation Works, the team behind ATOmate, can you tell us a little bit more about ATOmate and how it works?
Sure, Steph. So Business Automation Works is an Australian-owned and founded organisation. We're a smallish organisation. Let's move on to ATOmate. So ATOmate is being specifically designed and built for the Australian accounting profession. Where did this come from? We discovered a problem that every accounting firm encounters every day, and we set about solving that problem through our expertise in automation and workflow.
Interesting. And so who would you say ATOmate is ideally for?
Yeah, as suggested, we've built this for the Australian accounting profession. Now, with more than 1,200 practices on the platform today, those practices scale from the sole practitioner that is maybe working from home or in a serviced office space, right up to the large multi-office accounting firms with 800, 900, 1,000 staff. So the platform really does scale. The problem that we solve is the same regardless of whether you're really small or whether you're really large. So the problem is the same. Certainly the way that we solve the problem might vary a bit, but ATOmate scales up and down right across the industry.
Oh, that's great. So you really cater for all accounting practices. And that leads to the next question. Why do practices reach out to ATOmate? Is there a particular challenge or issue for them?
Yeah, so I think where we started solving this problem of time. So everyone is born equal, the same number of hours in a day. One of the things that we know about what we do, which is we capture, process, validate and check, and then create communication for ATO documents. So every accounting practice faces the same issue. To make sure that they capture all of those documents, process them, check them, do the validation, create a communication to the client that means something to the client, and then last but not least, get those documents into the document management system is really time consuming. Not only is it time consuming, it's probably not the most fun or engaging task in a practice. So the first thing is time. So I'll circle back around and talk about how much time as we go. What's come up more recently, particularly over the last couple of years, is that the way the ATO communicates documents has changed. Back in the good old, bad old days, whichever way you'd like to term this, everything was delivered via a piece of paper via Australia Post, either directly to the client or an accounting firm. It's not the way it happens anymore. As the ATO has gone about becoming more digitised or digital and changed the way they do things, they now communicate these documents across multiple channels. So one of the things we often get when a practice comes to us to say, hey, we want to have a look at what you do, is we're confused. We're missing documents. We're confused about where these documents are going. So to hone in on that point, two really important points. MyGov. Nearly every taxpayer in the country now has a MyGov account. What that means is documents that would have come to you, the practice, they go directly to the client's in MyGov account. Now, don't be confused. The client having a MyGov account does not mean they're checking the MyGov account, and if they're not checking it, then there's gaps in information, etc. A really big one today is PAYG instalment notices. The ATO have made serious change about how they manage this. They've now created what we call the digital PAYG instalment notice. They come out every quarter, tells the taxpayer what they've got to pay to the ATO to meet their commitment. So one of the challenges is all this used to come out by paper. Now some of it's digital. Really importantly, there's a high level of confusion within practice at how this works. PAYGs are not available to the taxpayer. They're only available to the accounting practice. If you don't get them and pass them on, the taxpayer will not meet their commitments. ATOmate solves these problems because we capture 100% of the documents, ensuring both you, the practice, and the taxpayer are fully informed.
Wow, that's fantastic. And so how does ATOmate help with everyday tasks and processes that accounting practices has? How can it improve the day-to-day running?
Yeah, great question. So I think at the core of what we do is we take away the time-consuming mundane tasks, allowing team members, regardless of whether they're admin or fee earners, to get on with doing more important things. So I think the best way to explain that is that at best, it's about 1 hour per day per team member. So if you're listening to this and you think, well, how do I understand this? It's about 1 hour per day per team member. So if you've got team members, it's 10 hours a day spread across your team. So that's 50 hours a week. How do we help practices with this process? We reduce that time from that 10 hours back to about 1. So the question is, how do we really help accounting practices? Well, it's about reallocating that time. If you had 1 hour a day, every day to focus on something else, what would you do? Would it deliver more fees? Would it allow you to get stuff done that's not being done? Or would you just simply play more golf?
That's a huge time savings. So without ATOmate, how would these practices be processing ATO documents at the moment?
Yeah, well, anyone not using our platform today will recognise this. So first of all, you wait for Aussie Post to show up and you'll open a lot of mail. Not everything comes by post. So what you'll also probably be doing is having someone in your team log into the tax agent portal every day and then try and capture those documents that you're missing. So first of all, you've got multiple sources. Once you've got that, then you need to do the cross-checking, look at the document, identify, do I need to send it to the client? The answer is probably yes. Create a communication, whether that be a letter or an email. Remove the TFNs. Really critically, you can't send these documents regardless of communication method with TFN exposed. If you do, you're not meeting your TFN obligations. So remove the TFN, share it around the office, put it on someone's desk, ask them what they want done, let it come back, maybe it doesn't come back. Get the communication off to the client and then try and get all of that into your document management system. So not only, Steph, is it time consuming, it's manual, it's no fun, it often delays the communication to the client. So that delay in communication has a serious impact on the client meeting their obligations, but just as importantly, it also has a massive impact on the relationship with you and that very important person being the client.
Can you highlight some of the main features of ATOmate? What are some of the features that your customers just love and rave about?
Yeah, so I think if I explain really what our process does, I just talked about what might happen if you're not using ATOmate. So let's go the other way and imagine that the practice is now using the ATOmate platform. So overnight, every night, we automatically capture all of those documents directly from the ATO. What that means, 100% of documents are captured overnight, every night. Speeds up the process, means you don't need to do it in the morning. So if you're the admin person, when you come in tomorrow morning into the office, you log into ATOmate, we've done all the validation, we've done all the cross-checking, we've flagged anything where there's a variance. So we've flagged anything that needs further attention. We've also flagged things like a penalty notice so that you can take care of that. We've already created the client communication. It explains everything to the client that they need to know and that you want them to do. We've removed the TFN, we've attached the PDF, so the ATO document with TFNs removed. So in effect, you come in first thing in the morning, you log into ATOmate, you send off all the communications that are ready, you tidy up anything that needs a bit more of attention and get that off to the client. The job's done for the day. So if you can imagine that what was something that you kept putting off because it was time consuming and tedious is now super fast. Probably the biggest thing we get after the implementation, so practices will look for that at the start, but after we go 6-8 weeks in, we're no longer getting phone calls from our clients saying, I didn't get. Where is my PAYG instalment notice? I didn't pay it, now I've got debt collection. So that disappears. So I think the most important piece of feedback we get after the practice has had ATOmate for some time is that the interactions with clients is more proactive than reactive. So it's building a relationship rather than trying to maybe save a relationship.
Yeah. think anything that saves time and is better for your client interaction is fantastic. It's brilliant. And what sets ATOmate apart from any other solutions in the market?
Yeah, so I think it's our level of automation. It's a level of automation that ATOmate delivers. This will be why more than 1,200 practices are using the platform, by far the biggest provider of this solution in the industry in this country today. There's three things that really set us apart. Three simple statements: fast, simple and secure. So the fast is all about your team. It's the practice admin, the accountants, the managers and the partners. We're making it fast and easy for you to ensure that you are effectively communicating without spending a whole heap of time. Simple. This is critical to the client experience. So the simple relates to the client. While we have many ways that you can choose to communicate with a client, most practices predominantly are using our email functionality. The email comes directly from you, the practice. We've attached the PDF, we've removed the TFN. So it's a nice, simple experience. Customers get an email, they can read the context of the email, it tells them everything they need to know and need to do. And if they need to, they can reference the attached document. No need for pins, no need for links in emails, all the sorts of things that put a barrier between the client receiving the communication and actually acting. Now, secure, super important. We removed the TFNs, but more than that, encrypted email communication. We're 27001 certified. ATOmate has exactly the same security criteria from the ATO, TBB, etc., as what Xero does. So we're measured the same way. So what you can be assured of is that it's fast for your people, it's really simple, it's a very simple client-centric experience for the client, and it's secure, meets and ticks all of those boxes.
Finally, can you share how ATOmate's integration with Xero works?
Yeah, so absolutely. Our Xero integration is central to everything that I've talked about. So I've talked about the integration with the ATO. That allows us to capture the documents. I've mentioned really briefly integration to file documents automatically into document management system. Xero sits at the centre of that universe. So when we capture those documents, our Xero integration allows us to validate the entity, type of entity, capture contact details, first name, last name, really importantly, salutation, email addresses, phone numbers, all of the things that we need to create that client-centric communication. It also allows us to do things like capture the estimate for a tax return, so we can cross-check that and validate it and flag it if there's a variance. So Xero is the centre of that universe. In fact, we use Xero, or Xero provides that central source of truth. It is the central source of truth for your practice today, and ATOmate leverages that to ensure that you have a seamless end-to-end process for ATO document automation using Xero. So I'll repeat again, really, Xero is the central source of truth, and our integration and partnership with Xero is essential to delivering an amazing outcome to more than 1,200 practices in Australia today.
Brilliant, thank you. That was incredibly insightful, and thank you for sharing.
Thanks, Steph.